That doesn't sound good.
Actually, that sounds really good. Let's go on in. Say hello. How you doing, Hector? No, don't leave the gun, you idiot. Just in case. Ah, Meche. Aw. We didn't go to hell. Isn't that great, kids?
If you want, they're all here.
How about yours?
The company gave me one on the other end. Sort of a retirement present. And, demons ride free, right?
Aw, Manny, you know I can't go with you. I'm a spirit of the land and all that. I can't ever leave this world.
I guess I got so wrapped up in saving people, I just assumed I'd be able to save you too.
Yeah, but I don't need to be saved. I like it here. I'm not all alone in that basement anymore, thanks to you. I got a new job and all these new friends. I'm a big demon success story.
So, I guess this is it then.
Come here, give me a hug.
Did I forget to switch it back to... Oh, Glottis.
Bye.
Manny,
Yeah?
when we get to the next world,
What is it, Angel?
are we going to be together?
You know, sweetheart, if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Nobody knows what's gonna happen at the end of the line. So you might as well enjoy the trip.
Aw. Man, he got the girl and he gets to go to heaven. Or whatever this afterworld is. Hey, it's just like those guys by the ashtray. Or of the ashtray. For our friend, Jeppeth. Jeppeth, I think. Just the credits time? It sure is. Alright, well, that was Grim God, that's really loud. Let me take my headset off. Christ almighty. That was Grim Fandango Remastered. Obviously, this is typically where I will do kind of a mini review of the game, talk about what I thought about it overall, etc. So there's two parts of this. There's the base game, Grim Fandango, and there's the remaster. Now, as I said multiple times, Grim Fandango is one of, if not my favorite adventure games of all time. I'm not big into adventure games, but, you know, I like them from time to time, and Grim Fandango is one of my favorites. I didn't play it when it was new. I played it quite a few years after it had come out. Probably about 8 or 9 years ago, roughly. Just very, very roughly. And I really, really enjoyed it. I love the dialogue. And obviously that stuff is going to be in the remaster. So it's not like a reboot or anything. It's just the same game with better graphics. So on that end, I mean, it's still a great game. If you've never played it, absolutely without question, it's worth playing through. Now, adventure games, you know, is it worth buying it and playing through yourself, even though you just watched me play it? I mean, that's up to you, I guess, so you can experience it yourself or whatever. But whatever, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But it's definitely an experience worth having, I think, if you're even remotely experienced in adventure games. And like I said, it's one of my favorite of all time. Now, the voice acting is great. The dialogue is really good. The puzzles, for the most part, like make sense within the world. Sometimes they're ones that are like stretching it, like the barf puzzle with the liquid nitrogen, like that was starting to push it. But for the most part, it made sense within the world. And only a few times was I really like, what in the hell am I supposed to do? And some of them were kind of suck. It's like, oh, well, you talked to that person once, you have to talk to them again, or something like that. But that didn't really happen a whole lot. Now, and the setting is great too. The setting is what really makes this game. The whole land of the dead and the demons and the characters, all of it just combined to make a fantastic adventure game. Probably the best one that I've played that Tim Schafer's ever done. Which again, I'm not a big adventure game fan of, but I have played Monkey Island 1 and 2, I think, and I loved Maniac Mansion. I don't know if he did Maniac Mansion or not, but I love that one as well. Anyway, so let's talk about the remaster though. As a remaster, this feels pretty damn weak. The only things they really did was update the graphics and add some shadow effects. And update the graphics only for the characters. They didn't do the backgrounds at all, which really made it stick out, especially near the end there. That one last spot, it just stuck out like a sore thumb. And there were other areas too that was just painfully obvious that the backgrounds hadn't been redone, which seems weird to me because it seems like that'd be easier to do, but I'm not a game developer, just kind of going off, you know, what I personally believe. Again, that could be completely off base. But yeah, it felt on the remaster side, just as a consumer, to be honest, it felt just kind of like a cash-in. It felt like they were like, well, you know, I don't know, I'm mixed on it. On one, it felt like a cash-in because it felt like they were really lazy with the remake. The voices are the same. Sometimes, like, the volumes are off a little bit. Definitely nothing too jarring. That only happened a couple times. But only the models were changed, and the shadows were done. And I think there's some developer commentary in it too, and that's okay. I mean, that's cool. I like that that's there, but that doesn't really, you know, especially when I'm just playing through the game again, either for the first time or again after a long time. I don't really want the commentary anyway, and I probably won't play through it again just to hear the commentary. But it's still cool that they did that. But from a gameplay perspective, it just, I don't know, the game doesn't save itself ever. So at least as far as I can tell, there's no autosave. There was a few crashes here and there. There was some bugginess here and there. I didn't run into a lot of bugs though. I know other people said they did. I only ran into a couple near the end where, like, for example, I was holding on to that cord and I tried to open my inventory, but I couldn't open my inventory, so it kind of soft locked. I did have it crash once or twice as well, but for the most part I didn't run into too much as far as it goes. But it definitely felt like, for a remaster, it felt incredibly weak. It's like they did like the absolute bare minimum that they would have to do for it to be called a remaster. So in that case, it feels like a cop-out, like it was just kind of a cash-in. On the flip side, as far as I know, there was no legit way to purchase this game digitally. I don't think you could get it on GOG. You couldn't get it on Steam. I presume a lot of that was due to compatibility issues with newer machines. And GOG has some really old games. And the fact that you couldn't get Grim Fandango, that alone is weird, because they've got games way older than Grim Fandango that you can run on more modern machines. But whatever the reason, they didn't have it on these other platforms. So I guess this is a way to say, okay, well, we want newer generations or people who liked the original to be able to play the game again, but we don't want to just sell them the old game again, right, for $15 or $20 or whatever, because it's obviously going to take money and time to get it to work, right? Even if it was just on the technical side, getting the older game to work on the newer operating systems, it's obviously going to take time and money and all this. So you can't just expect them to give it for free or for $5 or $10 or something like that. So, you know, maybe they said, okay, well, in order to kind of incentivize people who have played it already to buy it again, let's do updates on what we can, because they've heard like getting the original assets was a lot of them were lost, or I don't know what the details were, but long story short, the reason some of the stuff wasn't redone, like the backgrounds, was because they didn't have access to it. I don't know how true that is, but I I really don't know what to say about this as a remaster. You know, again, if you haven't played original Grim Fandango, without question, I think buy it, because it's really the only place you can buy the game is the remastered. And I think, as adventure games go, this is one of the best ones I've ever played, if not the best. If you've already played it though, it's such like I say, it's such a weird state. It's nice to have played through it again because it had been so long since I played it, but I just feel let down by the remaster. It kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth that they call it the remastered when it feels like they did the absolute minimum to call it a remaster in the first place. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, and this is typically also where I give a score, because I actually still believe scores have plenty of value. On 1 to 10 scale, where a 5 is an average game, equal amounts of good and bad, 10's impossible, 1 is pretty much unplayable. As a package itself, I would say about an 8.5 to a 9. The game's great. It's a great adventure game. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the voice acting. But as a remaster, it feels, like I say, it feels a little bit like a rip. But if this is the first time you've ever playing it, then yeah, it's absolutely worth picking up. As far as a price, I also like to give a price with which to suggest people to buy it. This game has pretty much no replayability unless it's been like a long time, obviously, right? Because it's an adventure game. And that's just the way adventure games are. That's just the way most of them work, especially older ones. There was only one way to play through it. That's fair enough. So for a price, but again, I think the writing is exceptional. I think the comedy is exceptional. I would say $20 to $25 for this is absolutely a fair price to pay, and I don't think it's even full price that much. I think it's less. I could be wrong. I like the way they kind of implemented the guys in the ashtray, kind of like they're at the pool at the end. I don't know why it's playing through all that again. Oh, I just kicked you right back into the game again.
¿Qué es esto?
¿Qué es esto? I still just kind of to underline how little it was actually changed. But anyway, that's enough for Grim Fandango Remastered. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.